breaking news from Washington. What House Speaker Nancy Pelosi just said a short time ago about President Trump and impeachment, saying the president isn't worth it. And the other major news, the president's budget proposal making news tonight because of what's in it and what's not. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl now.
Nancy Pelosi has no problem being the president's chief nemesis.
You should not have a Trump shutdown. You have the White House, the Trump shutdown.
But today, for the first time, the Speaker of the House flatly declared she is against impeaching President Trump, telling the Washington Post, "I'm not for impeachment. Unless there's something so compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan, I don't think we should go down that path because it divides the country, and he's just not worth it." This comes as the White House rolled out a new record-shattering budget proposal, more than $4.7 trillion in federal spending next year alone, and trillions more in debt over the next decade, something candidate Trump promised he wouldn't do.
Here's the beauty. So, in 8 years, our national debt has doubled. It's going to more than double by the time it gets out. Look at that. It'll be at $20 trillion. Great job. Great job, Obama.
He also promised that he would eliminate the national debt within 8 years. And as you know, the debt at the end of his first year was at $20 trillion. Last year it went to $21 trillion. Last month, $22 trillion. So what happened to that promise? I mean, the president has added historically large numbers to the national debt instead of keeping a promise to actually pay it off.
Look, again, the last administration nearly doubled the national debt, and when this president ran for office, he made a commitment to the American people that he would attempt to tackle the debt within 8 years.
But he's added $2 trillion, more than $2 trillion to the national debt.
He also came into office and had an economic recovery that was needed to put people back to work.
The new budget calls for $750 billion in defense spending next year, a 5% increase, and $8.6 billion for the wall on the Mexican border, $3 billion more than the president asked for last year. There are also cuts to Medicaid and student loans and changes to Medicare. Also, a 31% cut for the Environmental Protection Agency next year alone. Democrats pronounced the whole thing dead on arrival.
Let's bring in John Karl. He's live at the White House asking about the debt there at the White House today and promises made when the president was a candidate. But John, I did want to get back to what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said late today, that she's not for impeachment. As we all know, some House Democrats, particularly some of the freshmen, have been very enthusiastic, very keen at the prospect of impeachment proceedings. She's the leader, though. So what's behind her going public tonight? What's her political calculation here?
Dave, it's a reflection of political reality. There simply are not the votes to impeach the president and remove him from office, and Nancy Pelosi would much rather run against a wounded and heavily investigated Donald Trump than wage a lost cause effort to remove him from office through impeachment.
All right, John Karl, on a very busy day at the White House. John, thank you.